Welcome to episode 4 of the Comic Source. I'm your host, Jace. In the news, Saga from Image Comics won the Hugo Award this year for Best Graphic Story, and the Avengers movie from Marvel Comics won for Best Dramatic Presentation Long Form. Also, Bryan Cranston denied rumors he's going to be playing Lex Luthor in the upcoming Batman vs. Superman movie. On to my reviews for this episode. I'm going to be talking about 3 recently released books that came out on Wednesday, August 28th. The first book I'm going to talk about is Overtaken #1 by Aspen Comics. This book is written by Frank Mastromoro with art by newcomer Marco Lorenzana. The book starts out with 2 alien races fighting hand-to-hand combat on a planetoid. The narration is discussing how a lot of the life in our universe is very similar to each other in structure because it was all created at the same time in the same Big Bang. The book then jumps forward to Earth, present day. We're introduced to Will Hardin and Jesse Hardin. They're moving from Chicago up to Minnesota to help out with Jesse's parents who are getting up there in age. They run a general store in a little town called Turtle Creek. Will is a journalist who looks to continue his award-winning journalist career with a local paper in town. There's not much more to the story than just the introduction to these characters. The last few pages, Jesse's driving home from working at the store with her mother, and she's on the phone with Will. There's a mysterious light. Will is concerned, tells her to pull over. The light apparently disappears, and they think everything's okay, and then the light reappears directly above Jesse. Jesse is taken. The last scene is just a picture of her empty car by the side of the road, and obviously Will is distraught. So this will lead directly into issue 2. The art by Marco Lorenzana, pretty clean lines. They're a little heavy. It's definitely more of a cartoonish style, but being that he's new to the industry, I think that he does a pretty good job, and I can definitely see there's room for improvement. But like any Aspen book, the colors are beautiful and the art is really above average. Now, this book is part of Aspen Comics' 10 for 10 initiative to celebrate their 10th anniversary. That's 10 #1 issues in 10 months for only $1. So this book's only going to set you back $1, so at $1, I definitely think it's worth checking out. The next book I want to talk about is All-Star Western 23, written by Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray with art by Moritat. A few issues ago, Jonah Hex was pulled into present-day Gotham City through an adventure he had with Booster Gold. He ended up in Arkham Asylum. He managed to escape Arkham with Jeremiah Arkham in tow. The first thing Hex wants to do once he gets out of Arkham is get the hell out of Gotham. He's not a fan of Gotham City. He wasn't a fan of Gotham City in the past, and he certainly doesn't think it's improved over the 200 years that have passed since he last saw it. So, he's got Arkham in tow. They steal a car. They're on the way out of the city. The bridge is being blockaded by a street gang who's just robbed a bank. Jonah Hex takes matters into his own hands. He picks up a gun from a fallen officer. He takes care of the punks. After Hex takes care of the street gang, they manage to escape Gotham. They stop at a bar. Hex meets up with a woman. The woman takes him back to her place. We get a little exposition. Hex giving his opinion of modern day America, things of that nature. From there, they go to exchange the car. These 2 girls that Arkham and Hex met are along for the ride. They exchange that car that has been stolen for one that supposedly the police aren't looking for, and they head to a breast cancer awareness rally. While they're at the rally, just like always, trouble seems to find Hex. An estranged husband shows up looking for his wife, driving like a crazy man through the crowd, running over people. He hops out of the car with the automatic weapons, starts shooting into the crowd. Hex runs into a local gun store. The gun owner has heard the commotion. He tosses Hex a gun. Hex takes care of the perpetrator. The police show up, surround Hex, place him under arrest. The next scene is Arkham trying to convince the cops that this guy is really the legitimate Jonah Hex. The FBI is not buying it. They think Arkham has Stockholm Syndrome. And the last page of the book, Bruce Wayne shows up, lawyers in tow, asking if they've charged Jonah Hex with any crimes because he's just brought some impressive legal representation for Hex. Now, this book, along with Batman, have been the 2 most consistently awesome books in the New 52 lineup. Palmiotti and Gray have a great handle on who Jonah Hex is. He's gruff, and he's uncouth, and he's rude, but he's honorable, and they do a great job of characterization on Hex. Now the art on All-Star Western is handled by Moritat. It's more of a sketchy kind of art. The lines aren't super clean. It's definitely a little more on the rough side. It suits this book perfectly. Jonah Hex is a rough character. He's very gruff. A lot of times the settings are Old West. So Moritat's style is perfectly suited for the book. So if you haven't been reading All-Star Western, now's the time. This Jonah Hex in present day is super interesting. I can't wait to see him interact with Batman and maybe some of the other current heroes of the DC Universe. It's definitely a book I highly recommend. The final title I'm going to talk about today is Think Tank number 9 from Top Cow Comics. This is written by Matt Hawkins with art by Rasan Ekadal. Now, the whole premise of Think Tank is it's the story of Dr. David Lauren. This guy's a super genius who was recruited by the U.S. government at a very young age, I believe 14, to basically do research and invent crazy things for the military. Now, what Dr. David Lauren has invented is a way to target somebody through their DNA. So what happens is this technology has fallen into the wrong hands, and at the beginning of issue 9, we see that Dr. David Lauren, for the first time, is having to go in the field. He is flying on a helicopter with a group of Navy SEALs. The helicopter is shot down as it nears their destination, which is an island just off the southern coast of Taiwan, where the people that have stolen this technology supposedly are holed up. So Lauren and one of the Navy SEALs survive, and while they're trying to assess their situation and decide what to do next, they're captured and rendered unconscious. And Lauren wakes up, he doesn't know where he is, and he's in the presence of somebody he never expected to see again. So that's the cliffhanger that issue 9 ends on, and I'm anxiously awaiting issue 10. Think Tank is one of my favorite titles. If you're not reading this book, then I can honestly say this is the best book that you're not picking up every month. The science is super interesting. It's all relevant to modern day. Now, Matt Hawkins, who I met at the San Diego Comic-Con this last year, is a really smart guy. He has a master's in physics from Caltech. He's very interested in science. He has a background in science. And so if anybody out there enjoys science and, cutting edge technology, this is definitely the book for you. At the end of each issue, Matt has a couple pages of text that he calls Science Class. In those pages, he breaks down a lot of the technology and the experiments and some of the cool things that you see in the story and read about. And he even includes links where you can go and read about these things on the internet. Now, a lot of this stuff sounded like science fiction. I never would have thought it was real, like, devices that can actually read people's minds. It seems like, way far future Star Trek kind of thing, but they actually have those things now. And so if you're into science, I definitely recommend this book. If you're not into science, I still recommend the book because it's just very well written. Hawkins has a way of making the characters engaging and interesting, and you really want to see what happens next. On the art side of things, Rasan Ekadal does a great job of conveying emotion in his characters. His style is very clean. The book is in black and white, so you can see his rendering very well. And it's just all around a great book. I look forward to it every month, and issue 10 will be out October 2nd. Also at San Diego this last year, they announced that Think Tank has been optioned for a movie, so we could see that in the future too. So just a quick recap. Overtaken number 2 from Aspen Comics will be out September 18th. All-Star Western 24 from DC Comics will be out October 23rd. They're skipping September due to Villains Month. And Think Tank number 10 will be out on October 2nd. I want to thank everybody for watching. Join me next time when I talk about the conclusion of the Thanos Rising miniseries from Marvel Comics, which just ended last Wednesday with number 5. And in my retro review, I'll be talking about the single best story arc, in most people's opinion, of the Hellblazer series starring John Constantine. I'll see you then.